Cut it down, girls. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Is this meeting being recorded, Mayor Cross?
It will
Yes.
be. Just 1 second.
I just
Oh,
got the
okay,
notice.
wonderful. That's
Yeah,
wonderful.
I think it
Praise
came on
God.
already, if I'm not mistaken. Okay.
Okay, fantastic. There it is.
Mhm.
Okay, as more people come in, we'll just let them in. You can still hear me well?
Yes.
Okay. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to this second Wednesday in April. Can you believe it? We're already in April. Spring is in front of us, and today is a wonderful day. I'm Mayor Cashenna A. Cross of the city of Glenarden. Today is Volunteer Awareness Day. I have chosen Prince George's County NAACP as the Volunteer Awareness Program to be highlighted on this enormous day. The history of Prince George's NAACP drives from a civil rights organization, an organization that is committed to the community, that members is evident in its dedicated members who continue to support our mission over many, many years. We are mothers, fathers, deacons, preachers, and full-time workers, and as well educators, and volunteering is part of our lifeblood. Prince George's County's branch is located in the heart of Prince George's County, a population just shy of 1 million residents. Our members are dedicated to working for the community and securing employment. It is my devout honor to be associated with such a prestigious organization who fights for the advancement of minority businesses, educational opportunities for our youth, young adults, promoting healthy living, college programs, and yes, we've even had members get certified in CERT training with Prince George's County so that we can be prepared for disaster as well as environmental protection issues. It's a great honor for me to introduce the president of this NAACP chapter, President Linda Thornton Thomas.
Well, hello, everyone, and I'm honored to be with you guys. And thank you for being so committed and coming out. Let's talk about service. That is one thing that each and every one of us, I'm sure, have grown up in our younger years and have done those things that people appreciate in the community. We have lost that touch, and we need to get back to that. And so I'm hoping and praying with the support that we have and opportunities like this, that we encourage more people to come out and have an opportunity to know your neighbor. That's one of the things I think is missing too, is that we're not as connected as we used to. And I think we're getting better because of COVID, we're moving out a little bit more in the last couple of years, but we need to do more. And we also need to bring out friends, and we need to connect with our business partners, people that we work with, and invite them to help us with programs. So I tell you, the NAACP has been a strong advocate of volunteers. They have done so very much to connect with people in partnerships and allowing them the opportunity to come in and help us. And of course, we know we can't depend on everyone to volunteer every day, but we are looking, hopefully, for those of you who will just give a little bit of your time to do that. And I know the group that we have here today, you guys are always volunteering all the time, doing the good work. And we don't pay you, and I sympathize. I don't get paid either, but that's not important. I want you guys to get a few dollars somewhere down the line to pay for your gas to come out, but you're not even asking for that. So thank you so very much for your time and effort and the support and research that you do. You know, I'm looking at David. The research David has done with the Education Committee and what Milton, under Milton's leadership, and just working so hard in the community, getting us this data. It is an important piece of this. So, and I thank you for your volunteering with our branch and look forward to additional things that I know you will want to do because you're so committed. So thank you so very much. And I'm going to turn it back over to our host, Mayor Cross. And again, thank you to all of you. When this message goes out into our community, to say, we need you, we want you, we will support you, and we want you to volunteer to help your neighbor, your family, and your community. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you for those wonderful words. President Thomas is always so elegant in how she speaks when it comes down to this committee. I do want to acknowledge we do have Dr. Teresa Mason Ford, who is this year's Vice President for the NAACP Prince George's, and Carletta Lundy, who is the Immaculate Secretary of this branch, who keeps us all on track. The history of Prince George's County NAACP branch is full of rich successes and committed souls, as President Thomas just talked about. We have a desire not only to fight for the equal rights of all people, but we are providing opportunities for those who seek fairness in employment, education, economics, health, environment, housing for all residents. I believe there's about 30,000 houses that are required to house as many people that are now entering into Prince George's County. That's enormous. In Glenarden, we actually have Glenarden Hills, and we will have about 169 residential houses for seniors and for those that are lower income. Now, it's going to come complete with a clubhouse and a pool, so don't let the naming convention fool you. We are doing good things in our community and housing our people with dignity. We are looking at matters not only of color and religious affiliation, but we are looking for equities that provide hope and design and implementation for our committees to reach the needs of all who seek a road to social justice and peace. It is so important that we acknowledge community leaders like the NAACP Prince George's. And I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, Mayor Cashenna Cross, I am honored to know you and to be a part of an organization that's already changing the ground truth here in Prince George's County. I have the unique ability to testify at Annapolis on several bills, one of which was to put in the classroom breakfasts. Now, I don't know if many of you know that we do have some residents in our county who the busing system has caused a severe impact on our children's health. They haven't been able to get the bus drivers back since COVID. And again, we're going to push for the educational systems to make sure that we get the volunteer teachers out there. The substitutes and the bus drivers are so important. But in the meantime, this NAACP took it up with the American Heart Association, and Mayor Cross was happy to be a part of that, to actually get it through Annapolis. We have breakfasts in the classroom. How exciting. The next piece was to actually push hard for free lunches and breakfasts. What we learned during COVID is that our children, a lot of our children have not been getting the square meals, and some have. But because we know that when you are hungry, you can't focus. When you are hungry, you cannot study and be productive. The most beautiful thing that COVID showed us at the end of the day were those little bag lunches that every child got to take home, and it was free. It was a beautiful thing. And even my children, many of you know I have young ones, ages 10 and 14 now, who would take their lunches and they said, well, when I get home, you know, we have food, we have different things, and they would share. It created real citizenry-like behavior. There wasn't any have-nots. Everybody had. And that is the mantra that we went forward with the American Heart Association, to fight for legislation that would put free breakfasts and lunches in the classrooms in Prince George's County. So I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for allowing me to testify on behalf of those two initiatives. And I'm so excited for the legislators that have brought those forward. On behalf of the veterans, I also note that we are moving forward with bringing forward veteran programmings that will allow us to help our veterans that are returning PTSD, that will also allow us to provide burial assistance for our community family members. So for our spousal units, see, I come from the military, served 20 years, United States Air Force, 5 combat tours in war. And NAACP moving forward out on this initiative is one that's near and dear to my heart. So when I pass forward into the next life, I, as a retired veteran, will have the opportunity to get buried in the national cemeteries. But it does cost if my husband or my children want to join me. There's an initiative that was put forth, and this NAACP has been really hardcore pushing to ensure that families can stay together in eternity. Veteran families are being taken care of. And that's something that you need to know that this NAACP is doing. And you may notice that I keep saying NAACP. That's a new change because many of us grew up calling it the NAACP. Well, in the new light of this organization, it has been expressed that there are 2A. There's no AA, it's 2A. So the National Association of the Advancement of Colored People, NAACP. So that's a new way that we have to speak and get used to. And even it's funny during the board meetings how we'll say NAACP. It's almost like we have to have that jar, right? Oh, you said NAACP, put your dollar in. But it has been a joy. And I wanted to take this opportunity to just say thank you as a community leader, that I know that you're doing great things on the ground, and just those little legislations that I pushed is not all that you've done. I also note that there's several members that have got CERT training from Prince George's County. So not only are we fighting for our seniors, and I don't see Ms. Lipscomb on here, Chairman Lipscomb, but we're providing senior programming to ensure nutritional center opportunities, survivability in the chance fire or natural disaster. My heavens, they had 7 feet or something of snow in Texas. Anything can happen. So I am so honored to know that we have an organization on the ground in Prince George's County that's fighting hard. I wanted to give an opportunity for anybody to speak, you know, because I'm a Mississippi girl originally, and that's what we do. We talk all the time. So please, you're welcome to come on if you want to speak and say something about the great works that your committee's doing, that you know other committees are doing. We just want to highlight that for the population to note that this organization is out there on the ground doing great things.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor Cross, for this opportunity. Good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Teresa Mason Ford. I am the first Vice President of Prince George's County NAACP. I just want to briefly touch on what Mayor Cross has shared. So I am actually over the Environment Committee, and a few things that we're doing. We're creating a series of environment-focused activities for local communities that involve families, kids, and elderly people. The projects that we're aiming for is to encourage the involvement of environment conservation and education while fostering a sense of community and building a relationship between the different age groups. So those are some of the things that we're touching on. And as far as the background of that, environmental conservation is an important issue that affects our community within our planning. And I know most of you know that Joe Biden, he has put out an actual plan by 2030 to have the environment, based off renewable energy. So those are some of the things that we're doing in the committees at NAACP. Thank you.
And thank you so much for bringing up that renewable energy piece. I do know that there is a major initiative in the county to look at electric busing and to get rid of the diesel buses. There's also been a couple of initiatives that you can trade in the diesel buses to actually get a refund almost to go into an electric busing system. So Dr. Mason Ford, thank you so much for bringing up the environment, because we only got one Mother Earth and it's up to all of us. And I was talking earlier to Chairman Lawler, and I said, you know, one of the things that I note is we as the NAACP members, we are really and truly fighting hard, not just for people, but for the earth itself. Equality is equality. And right now there is an imbalance. And what's happening is global warming. We've been warned about it. President has talked about it. And if we haven't seen enough flooding in Mississippi, snowing in Texas, and flooding in California, and warm spring weather in Maryland, we have got to stay woke to what's happening in this environment. It's something that all of us, once it's out of control, it's not like a light switch that we can cut it back on and off. We must fight for the environment. So thank you for bringing that up. And our senior programs, when we look, I really wish Ms. Lipscomb was on here. She has such a great plan for our seniors, but it's so important that in the retirement age, that Prince George's County builds a residual equality for our residents that are over the age of 65 and older. Programming, nutritional programming, Hill City type programmings are necessary. Involvement is necessary. One of the key things that I would hope that to see out of the NAACP is more family unity programming, because that's one of the imbalances. Right now, we have working families that have gone back to work, and we have children that have gone back to school, but we do not have environmental programs that are sponsored at the county level or the state level that really and truly bring families back together. We have parks that are necessarily upkept as well as they could be. And one of the key things that I would ask if we could do with youth services and college programs is to build free aftercare programming for our children. It is exhausting as a mayor to see turnkey kids. And now I'm gonna tell my age when I say turnkey kids, but it is exhausting to see that, because I know that what happened for us growing up when we were younger is we had community that put karate, cheerleading, vocal lessons, art lessons, dance lessons, all those things in the schoolhouses after school programming, and it was free. I have nothing against paying for it myself, but I know that everyone cannot. It's so important that legislators hear us when we say we need before and aftercare programming, and we need Prince George's County Public School System to have it for free. That would be a wonderful adventure for us to be on as the NAACP, because it would help us resolve the age-old problem of an idle mind. When children are done with school, they should not just be right here on that cell phone. When they're done with school, they should be then put into opportunities that expand and grow their knowledge base, that helps them explore the wonder of childhood. That's why I do so many youth programming in the city of Glenarden, because there is nothing like having childhood memories. They carry you a lifetime. And that's something that I would hope that, you know, with volunteerism, as we're doing it in a family-oriented fashion, a environmental family-oriented fashion, that we can start to look at some of that programming and hopefully get the county council and the delegates and the senators to agree with us that that is something that we need. Now, I do know that we do have a cannabis law that has gone to pass. And if anybody wants to speak on that and how that's going to impact us, I know it's got a lot to do with taxation and billing and, you know, putting inventory of monies back in, but health-wise, where are we?
Well, one thing that we have to look out for in the cannabis law is the propensity of drug dealers to use fentanyl to enhance the high. So we've had some cannabis edibles that were laced with fentanyl overdoses, and we've had people who have smoked cannabis that's been laced with fentanyl. So we have to make sure that those things are kept in check. Now, before I talk any further about the Education Committee, I had the distinct honor of attending the CEO briefing with President Thomas on the 24th of March. And we were able to articulate the information that we received from Dr. Hansen and Ms. Liggins on the qualities, the things that we need to see in the new CEO. And we also stressed the fact that we must not hastily select someone, but wait until we find the right person. Like I think most of us know, the founder of our branch was a mortar, and she was killed by her husband because of her NAACP work. Last year, Dr. Hansen invited me to a ceremony to celebrate the life of Medgar Evers. And I want him to discuss what we're going to do this year. And after he's finished, I'm going to talk about what the vice chair is doing. And we have another co-chair, Kevin Glasper. He's focusing directly in on the school board, nothing but the school board. And Dr. Hansen, he's the co-chair for our special projects. And I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Hansen, and then I'll finish up with a little bit of some of the things that we're doing in the Education Committee. Dr. Hansen?
Thank you very much. Mayor Cross, I'm really glad that you mentioned veterans, because this event that we're planning is an event to commemorate probably one of the most important veterans that are buried in Arlington National Cemetery, and on whose shoulders all of us are standing. And I'd like to read to you the invitation we put together, because I want you to understand we are trying to create an event that is as inclusive as we can make it and as participative as we can make it, because NAACP needs to attract members from all segments of society so that we can really understand what's meant when it says none of us are free till all of us are free. We all have to be in on it. So the invitation is the following. You are cordially invited to attend a public memorial on the 60th anniversary of his passing, a tribute to a giant in the history of the civil rights movement, a fearless leader in the investigation of the murder of Emmett Till, a tireless field director and pillar of strength to NAACP, a veteran of D-Day invasion to free the people of Europe, a loving husband and father. Medgar Evers Memorial Event, Sunday, June 11, 2023 at 1 p.m., Arlington National Cemetery, and there'll be a map connected. Everyone from all faiths, all backgrounds, all ages are welcome to join in humble respect to honor Medgar Evers, his wife Merle, who picked up the banner from her husband and continued their service to all of us, and to their children whose sacrifice we should never forget. There will be time for all who wish to share their thoughts, prayers, and song and fellowship with others attending. Thank you for attending.
So much for reading that. Thank you. And thank you that we have that recorded, and we will definitely want to circulate that around and encourage everyone to come out for such a heroic giant in the civil rights movement. Thank you for that.
Hope to see you all there.
Yes. Last year, we had 15 people attend. Dr. Hansen was dressed in a black turtleneck and black pants. I was there, so we were only two black guys that were there. everybody else, everybody else
That's right.
weren't. So
Everybody
we
else
had
was
a good
flying.
time. Yeah,
Oh,
we
that's
had us a
fantastic.
good time.
Thank you so much.
The vice chair, Janice Liggins, she's working with Dr. Hornbeck. He's one of the former state superintendents of schools, and we're trying to get as many circles of 10 for restorative schools Maryland, a new initiative that Dr. Hornbeck he's already started, and he has the funding and everything. And what I'm going to do is try my best to replicate some of his efforts so that the branch could hopefully raise at least 250,000 this year and carry on into the millions next year, because we honestly need to get young people involved in our branch. They're going to be the ones who take over, and we have to train them. One of the initiatives that we have is we're piggybacking off of Angela Alsobrooks' Leadership Academy. And we're trying to get as many committee chairs to take a high school student under their wings, under the auspices of the student service learning opportunities. They can receive leadership development skills with the NAACP and take care of their the requirements, graduation requirements. So we can do that. Have the forms, and we can have some of the students come on and be leadership interns, not doing busy work, but actually leading, taking the lead in some of the digital challenges that we might have, and some of the recruiting challenges, and mark off the fact that they have leadership development skills when they put that on their application to go to college, military, or to a career school. Dr. Glasper, he's taking care of the Board of Education, because when the new CEO comes in, my goal, and I think the goal of the branch, is to make sure that the new CEO has an opportunity to work with the Board of Education, not against the Board of Education, and vice versa. The CEO in Prince George's County was created in 2013. Dr. Maxwell was the first person to fill that position. And in the 5 years that he was in charge, it was nothing but back and forth and appeasing this person to try to get that thing done, but nothing never really got done. And when Dr. Goldston took over, she had a small idea of what a CEO was supposed to do, but she really didn't have the opportunity to grow that position. So we really need someone who's coming in, hit the ground running, and they're able to just take our public school system and turn it into the exemplar for the country. There's no reason why Prince George's County public schools cannot be the exemplar. They were the largest school system to be under federal mandated busing in the 70s. And that didn't end until 2001. So we've only had 22 years of not self-rule, but self-governing. And throughout those years, we've had so many superintendents, it's ridiculous. Some of the things that superintendents were fired for was criminal. And then we had one person who did who did do something with criminal intent. But we definitely need to do that. So our 3 goals for the Education Committee for the past 2 years, 2021, 2022, into 2023, is to erase the academic achievement gap, to increase the number of certified teachers, and to give all students an opportunity to learn a second or third language, because our students will be at a disadvantage when they graduate, because we have a mandate to teach English to the students coming in from other countries. So they will be bilingual by the time they graduate. And it would be a disservice to students who are in Prince George's County not to have a second language or an opportunity to learn a second language. If the opportunity is there, that's all we want. We're not going to force anyone to do anything. But if someone wants to learn Russian, German, or whatever, then they have the opportunity. We're going to ask that they lower the requirement for language teachers. And if a person is fluent in that language, then that person can teach the language to the students who are not language majors, but just desire to learn the language, have a working knowledge of the language or working proficiency within that language. That's, I think we covered everything. We have the special projects with Megger Evers, the Board of Education with Dr. Glasper. Ms. Liggins is taking care of the restorative schools, Maryland, and there are two centers that are formed under the blueprint. One is the Judy Center, the other is the Patty Center, and that's the ideal setting to initiate the restorative school concept, because we're going to have the students resolve their own issues within circles instead of allowing things to fester and become uncontrollable. So that is education in a nutshell. Thank you for the opportunity to present that. And I want to thank everybody for being here. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. And I knew that for Volunteer Day, this was the right organization. Folks, I'm telling you, NAACP Prince George's County is on the move. You are moving the mission forward. I see that we've got Mr. Chairman Moses that's come on. We're going to let him talk about some of the great stuff he's been doing. I also want to remind you that Maryland Youth Voter Summit 2023 was this past March the 11th. It was phenomenal. There was a gathering essentially online for a conversation on how high school students are the keys to empowering voters and defending democracy. If you've heard me speak in the last 10 days, you've heard me talk about democracy about 10 times. It's so important that democracy and the preservation, if we look at what's happening in Tennessee, if we even look at our national level, how dare the voter's voice be negated? When we talk about equality and justice, these are the things that our youth, this youth group, Generation Z and Y, our millennials, they're technologically more advanced than I've ever been. I grew up on Encyclopedia Britannica, and we hoped that that door-to-door salesman came so we would learn something about the world. Today, with technology, the speed of sound is the speed of knowledge. It really is. So I am honored to say that the keys to empowering our voters is being put in the hands of our young folks. They will be the defenders of democracy. They have been looking at the relationship organization that will ensure eligible voters in Maryland have equal access to the ballot box ahead of the 2024 presidential elections. We have to teach good citizenry training. That's why I love what you're doing with the youth programming there, because citizenry training is something that we didn't think we needed, but it's hard now when our youth are growing up and they're not necessarily learning how to preserve and own communities. That is critical. As a mayor, I'm not going to be here forever. We should have term limits. I'm a good term limit girl. I love them because you show, you shine, and then you empower. I really love that term, you empower. So this is what NAACP, I owe you $1, NAACP is doing in Prince George's County, empowering ways to change the status quo of what equality and environmental equality and justice looks like by empowering that future, the second and third generation, to take ownership and run from the front. Now, with that, come on, Chairman Moses, talk to us about some of your initiatives.
Good evening. Glad to be aboard. You sound very excited, and I like that energy. That helps out a lot. What we're doing as far as the veterans are concerned, we're actually initiating a program through what they call e-benefits. E-benefits is helping the veterans actually sit down and put their DD-214 on board through digital. Once they implement that, it helps them able to find out their whole background, where they came from, their whole boot camp, I mean, from the beginning all the way to the end. And it also helps them know what the benefits are, especially the PAC Act, which is going on right now. In addition to that, my biggest celebration is the one that I helped get across through the General Assembly, which was the burial cemetery. At one time, when the veteran was buried, when the spouse was to be buried with them, it was close to $800, $900, almost $1,000 to have them join together. But now, through a lot of help and concentration, and on both the Senate as well as the House side, the money, the governor, pulled some funds together, and it was $1.9 million that was sitting there, he found. And he implemented to a point where now we have a waiver. We don't have to charge any spouse or dependents to be buried with the veteran. So everybody turned out to be, and I was jumping up and down when they passed that and signed it. That was really good. That's not only here in Maryland, I plan to initiate it straight across the United States because a lot of states don't do it. So we will actually implement the whole process, the wording, everything. We're going to start it from here, which is a solid foundation. We're going to move it straight across the nation. NAACP will be in the forefront of pushing this because we have veterans who have been involved with Vietnam who are at the ages right now. I won't say old, I'll say seasoned veterans who have gotten to a category now that they were service connected years ago. May have been 0% or 10%, but they never went back to the doctors to see what was going on. And I think a lot of times Uncle Sam owes them those benefits. And so I'm helping them, I'm encouraging them to go digital, to use their phone, and let's go all the way back and dig up your records and find out what's going on and see what you're entitled to. So I'm really happy with the things that are coming down for the veterans. That's my point of view. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chairman Mose. I am excited to hear. This is what we're talking about. It may start in Prince George's County, but it doesn't stop here. You're moving the mission forward. We're coming across the nation. I can appreciate that as a retired veteran, how you're taking care of families. It's going to be a wonderful thing. Arlington Cemetery has been a dream of mine. Now, who dreams about the end? But I know it's coming. There's two things in life, that's for sure, taxes and death. So we definitely have to make sure that we are prepared. And when that time comes, it's easier on our families because we have a plan. That's all we want, is to have a plan. And I'm so honored, and I was honored to watch you testify there in Annapolis and bring together a community for our veteran community. So thank you so much, and your team for that work. We're doing some noble work here in NAACP Prince George's, and I mentioned the community response, emergency response team training that happened the 1st and the 2nd of April. I'm gonna tell you, I've never been so frustrated because I was making sure that nobody died. All of my cadavers lived. But I was honored to have Milton and Dr. Ford with us at that training. And let me tell you, it was real training for 2 days. I don't know how they felt, but I felt like those 2 days lasted 3 weeks. But, we learned a lot about how to help our community survive. And we are going to take that training to the next level. So we're looking at, now I saw CPR training coming across. See, NAACP has to look at equality, not just where someone's been done wrong, but if you're not trained to survive, that is an injustice. That is inequalities, because others will survive and you won't because you haven't the training. So we are normalizing training across this county as well. So CPR training is something my children learned very early on in Belgic schools because we grew them up in NATO. It was so much water that every child from kindergarten to second grade had to learn how to swim. They made them learn it. In school, they made it a required course, swimming. Water kills so many of our children. And when the summer comes, you know what's going to happen. We're going to be down enjoying the Chesapeake and all down there, you know, enjoying the coast and the shores. And the problem is that's not something that American students are always readily trained. So I would also love to see in our after school programming, tennis, as well as fitness like swimming being taught and trained. There's nothing like a healthy pastime, and tennis and swimming are those types of pastimes that'll take you into your old age. You can do those until the day. It really is important. So I just wanted to highlight, you know, emergency response team training, but also put another plug out there for that before and after school program. Hint, hint, I have a 10 and a 14-year-old. Be nice if I didn't have to pay $400 for them to go. Seriously, it's like $200 a class. But I really am excited to acknowledge all of the wonderful work you're doing. This is Volunteer Day. April is, you know, April showers bring May flowers. We are talking about the revival of what it is to be in the NAACP in Prince George's County in this day and age. We are changing the dynamics. We are growing more missions for our communities. It's time that we stepped up our game. And I just want to say again, President Thomas, a phenomenal job. You are in the fight, and all the committees have stepped up their game. They've done so much for inclusive economics, advocacy and litigation, education and innovation, health and well-being. It's just amazing. And I do want to acknowledge that President Bob Ross, the ceremony was amazing. The way that the civil rights work diligently, sacredly performed by him was not forgotten and remembered. I do want to say thank you for doing that. Advocating for our communities, our children, whatever it takes. That's Prince George's County NAACP. I'm grateful again for the issues that are being addressed by way of current civil rights. Do add democracy. We shall not see of the people, by the people, for the people negated. As a mayor, it is important that the people's voice matters. People's voice, people's choice. It has to matter. Youth crime, the statistics are off the charts. Fentanyl, we brought that up earlier. Thank you, NAACP Prince George's, for what you're doing, working with the municipalities, state's attorney's office, and other law enforcement departments to help decrease youth crime. And I know that you're out there fighting again for affordable housing. That's very important. And as I talked about it with the city of Glenarden and our program, putting 160 new affordable housing that has really changed the dynamics for our senior and lower income families with grace, for we are building on those vacant lots opportunities to grow community families. We're partnering, supporting organizations, and even seeking additional funding and pushing for bills for those that are burdened by the house ownership process. Clean air. We talked about that with Dr. Ford, and the environment is not just a job for some, it's a job for all. It's the responsibility for us, and we need to teach our children the importance of it. I believe we looked up the numbers, $346 billion that is available for projects and programs at the national level to evolve the environment and to evolve sustainable communities. That's something that, like I said, it's an inequality that NAACP can look at for teaching our children the importance of clutter-free highways, clean air, as well as eco-friendly living spaces. Healthy living and caring for our seniors, can't say enough about that. Hospitals, Regional Medical Center is right on my back door, right there in Largo. And it's so important that perhaps we look at the University of Maryland and the programming that they're doing to see how maybe telehealth can be brought to neighboring communities that are in the impact zone. I always equate it to Disneyland and Disney World. Everybody in Disney World can get reduced tickets. Why? Because they are impact zone residents. With the Regional Medical Center in our back door, surely there can be some provisions made for community members who are in and around the impact zone. So for hospitals, wellness centers, and even a new psychiatric ward, we have talked extensively in the city of Glenarden about getting well. Mental health and wellness was my top theme for 2022. 2023, I added diversity and inclusion, because what we have recognized is our communities are growing. If you look at the latest census, the dynamics and the demographics changed expeditiously since COVID-19. Many people, unfortunately, lost houses, but those houses were picked up by different demographics. It's so important that we push our inclusion strategies because, again, we fight for equality for all. Small and minority businesses took a big hit, but I am honored to know that what Governor Moore and Lieutenant Governor Aruna Miller are doing for small business and minority business, and what Prince George's County is doing actually to help in the grant process and even at the national level and the congressional level, it's really important, and they're the backbones, and it's imperative that we support them. This is a great opportunity. The services are unique, and we don't want to lose that flavor. So for all that the branches and the committees are doing, working, celebrating, enjoying this life that we are living, this is our time. And we have defined it as a time to shine. And that's why this mayoral forum was so exciting and important to me, to acknowledge Prince George's County NAACP for the enormous mission and work that you have already put on the ground. Look, I know you thought we did this all last year. This just started this year. So this committee is on fire. And I'm so honored to be a part of this programming and share the vision. So forgive me, President Thomas, I want to turn it back over to you for some last words here. We're right at our time.
Okay. I'm going to try to be as brief as I possibly can. I'm honored to receive the position and as a nomination from our new governor, Wes Moore, to be the board member, one board member of the Maryland Private Partnership, Public Partnership. And I'm so excited about that. I'll be able to work with a lot of groups, an opportunity to work with minority groups to make sure that we get a little piece of the pie, which I know we're getting, but we just need a little wider. That'll be a great thing. We are also working with a number of organizations and our municipalities, as you shared before, to do some really great things. I'm actually a member now of the Laurel Police Academy. I don't have a whole lot of skills in criminology and so forth, but I am learning so many things. And then I've also been trained for the second time in CPR. So I'm excited about that. We also carry right now the opportunity to work with our council members who are doing some fantastic things. And one of the things that we're doing is we're looking at putting a pause to the development of townhomes. And that's not like we don't want people to come to our county, and we're not trying to discourage people from getting homes in Prince George's County. But what we're looking at is an opportunity to have smart growth. And so the council now is considering putting together this wonderful opportunity for them to look at our county, look at the way we can design it a little bit better, more family friendly, and also health-wise. And so that's going to be something coming up in the next week. So I'm looking forward to everyone to participate if you can. I now am on the CEO Library search team for a hopefully wonderful person that's going to be energetic and work with us in the county with our libraries to get them up and running again. When I say that, it's not like they're not working, but we need to get more people involved in the library. It's a safe haven for our children after they get out of school. It's an opportunity for people, whether you're a senior or not, to get some research in, to listen to some wonderful information that they provide often. And also, when we talk about one of the greatest things, and I know you talked about this earlier, but I wanted to also share about the hospitals. We do need a level 2 trauma center. And we had a grant. And I think the grant ran out about 6 months ago. And so I've been working with the director so that we can keep the program growing until we can get an additional grant. So I really do need support from people to talk about that. That is so very important. Baltimore City has one. We really do need one, and I'm just hoping that we'll get a chance to do that. And I want to also thank all those wonderful people who worked on the 210 initiative, fighting to make sure it's a safe highway. We were able to get more cameras there. We're going to get additional monies for some other things as well, and I will get back to everybody and let them know. And one of the very last things I want to say is that we're going to put on a civility program, and I'm really excited about that. Is because we talked about this in your conversations today, how important it is for us to get together, join our neighbors, be better people, find ways to resolve some of these issues, whether they're mental health or, just people who are just depressed in some way, because we get depressed, most of us do often. And so we need to have a conversation with our children, as Dr. Lawless shared earlier, and David also made a comment as well. And so we want to make sure that we cover as many areas as possible in our community to make sure that we see the needs, we work on the needs, and we actually find a resolution for those needs. So I want to thank everybody for the hard work, for going out of our way, for our women's initiatives that we put together. We have a new website coming up. I am so excited about it. We're highlighting all the great things that we do, because let me tell you something, we do a lot, and not everybody knows it. But we work hard. We are in places all the time. And you may not, hear about it because we're not in the newspaper, and we are quiet soldiers, but we are working hard, and we really need your support. And we're asking for members to come out and join us, because I get a lot of phone calls, and I want people to know that we are there to support you, but we also want you to become a member. So thank you for your hard work. I appreciate every one of you. And again, to the community, please, please volunteer. It is a good thing to do. Thank you.
Thank you so much, President Thomas. I see Ms. Gail, you're on. I don't want to leave anybody out. And I also see Chairman Lipscomb has come on as well. Come on, Ms. Gail, you can please unmute yourself. Archie.
Oh, good evening, everyone. It's good to see everybody. I don't really have a lot to share on the Prince George's County level, because I work mainly at the state level on legal redress issues, but I can tell you I have been very busy. There's a lot going on in the various branches with all of this conflict going on in some of our southern branches that resemble the conflict that was going on in Tennessee, with the council composition being a supermajority of Republicans and people trying to kick people off, and the voting suppression and all that is really I'm stunned at how much is going on in those other branches, and it's kind of sad that the NAACP isn't more feared. I mean, I don't know how else to say this, but when our name is mentioned in some of these communities, people should say, uh-oh, I better get my act together. I know that people are working hard to fight injustice, but we've got a long way to go. We're making strides, but some of the things going on in these other branches are kind of frightening, with the police and these council sessions, boards of education, keeping our folks off of the boards. So that's kind of what I've been working with. There's someone else in Prince George's County who's working with President Thomas Jabril Brown on our legal redress committee. So I haven't heard from him. That's a good thing. I think he's probably doing a tremendous job. Him and Ernest Gooding. And if anybody has anything they would like to ask me or help me to work on with some of these other branches, I'm happy to, take your information. I can put my information in the chat. I know, President Thomas, you had mentioned at our last general meeting that there was a policy you wanted me to work on. I haven't been able to get in touch with you, but if you let me know what that is, I can have a draft ready for you by the next meeting. And that's all I have to say. Any questions for me?
No, that is fantastic. Thank you so much. And you're right. We're right on par. We're right on par with, we have to bring back civility. That terminology is all over the federal government right now, DOD. Everybody's talking civility. And it's a golden rule. Do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. No one wants you to be hurting me. So why would I hurt you? It's so easy and yet so hard. And I think that's because we've had a spell and an opportunity to forget humanity. And we need to wake ourselves back up to what it is to be human in this lifetime. I want to let Chairman Lipscomb get an opportunity to speak on her senior program. Thank you so much, Ms. Elkins.
Good evening, everyone. Got on a little late, but just want to quickly say, well, first of all, that the WIN committee is, the purpose of the WIN committee is to enhance the leadership role of women, and we serve as an advocate for issues affecting women and children, and we work for the development of children. One of our major events, a yearly event, is we honor National Women's History Month, and we just completed our National Women's History Month program. We had, and the theme for this year was women who tell their stories. We had 4 fantastic authors who told their story, and we also, one of the things that we do, we try to honor at least one outstanding woman in Prince George's County. This year, we was just so excited to honor the Honorable Mayor, Cashenna, I may pronounce it, Cashenna Cross, and for her outstanding leadership in the community. We also work in partnership because the issues that affect women are the same as our issues here with that we have with the civil rights, social justice, political. So we work in partnership with other standing committees. With Milton, with the education, we normally work with them. With currently Cassandra, let me just say, Cassandra and I have reversed roles. She is now going to be our chair of the WIN committee, and I will be the co-chair. And she is currently working with Carletta with housing. And we propose to do a segment on how housing affects single women. So, and also during the year, last year we did, and we plan to do it again this year, we gave out turkey baskets to, and we contacted several schools in the area, and they gave us lists of individuals, students in their schools whose family would benefit from those programs. We started out a little small. We only gave out 10 baskets, but they were so appreciative. And we also do a sock drive. And then what we do is we collect socks for not only for women and children, but for men as well, for the homeless center. So we will be working with the health committee, with the education committee, with political action, anywhere that we can do something that will benefit the women of Prince George's County.
Amazing, and thank you so much. And it was quite the honor, quite the surprise too. But I am so honored to know that WIN committee is out there. Miss Cassandra is going to be a fantastic chair. She's also a part of the Youth Works youth program, college programs as well. We mentioned membership earlier. Again, congratulations, President Thomas, on your board appointment from the governor. Such an amazing honor. We're so proud of you. And also, I just wanted to go back to the Prince George's County branch membership for the NAACP. It is $30 every year. That means 16-year-olds who we are fighting to get the opportunity to register to vote and also be voting judges will be able to be a part of this amazing organization. Encourage all of our youth to consider 16 and older. $30 every year. The membership is for 12 months, renewed at the same month in which you purchased the membership. Several types: yearly, silver, life, and organizational. You'll be able to go to www.princegeorgesnaacp.org, and you'll be able to see that wonderful website that President Thomas talked about. You can also pay by PayPal. You can also note all of the amazing community works and activities and programs that we've hashed out today. And that was only a thumbnail, folks. This NAACP Prince George's is moving the mission forward. It is a 501c4 organization, and volunteerism is at the lifeblood of everything that this organization does. So it is my honor, with all hearts and minds clear, as we say in the Baptist Church. Thank you so much for allowing me to bring light to the great works that many may not have seen or may not know is an evolution in the NAACP Prince George's. Thank you again. I'm Mayor Cashenna A. Cross. You keep moving the mission forward, and we look forward to working with you more and more. Look on the website for all those committees and the committee chairs, and reach out and volunteer and get involved. Thank you all.
Thank you.